So good afternoon or good morning, depending upon what part of the country that you're calling in from. I'm Keith Birkin, Regional Sales Director, OneAmerica. I want to thank you so much for joining into today's presentation, which I titled OneAmerica Care Solutions Product Suite, Learn what the pros are selling. So why do I call it that? I can tell you there was a LIMRA study, or LIMRA numbers, that came out that are showing over 25% of all life insurance product sales last year were hybrid or combination products. So these types of solutions, life including long-term care, this is no longer the future. This is what's being sold now, and the great majority of the time for that matter. So this is the perfect time for you to be listening in and understanding how these solutions work. Of course, we're going to go in particular into the OneAmerica Care Solutions product suite, and you're going to learn about some pretty unique and exciting solutions that you probably haven't heard about before. The ability to offer a lifetime benefit. So long-term care benefits that can never, ever be exhausted. The ability to fund these solutions on literally any chassis imaginable, annual pay, single premium, 5, 10, or 20 pay. We even have the ability to work with your clients' qualified money, 401k, IRA, or 403b dollars. And then we have fantastic annuity solutions that will use your clients' existing annuity dollars, non-qualified, that would be taxable, and turn those into 100% tax-free long-term care solutions. So we've got a lot of ground to cover today. Don't worry, this is being recorded. You'll have access to my video channel after this webinar and the follow-up information that I send to you. You'll be able to see a recording of this, and or feel free to attend on multiple occasions. So you should have received an email from me that looks like this. That it's pre-registration, just making sure you are able to find the webinar. Nice little illustration we included in there to help you follow along today. As you can see, the registration link again, so you can register as many times as you like. And we use an agenda, so we know exactly at what point we're going to cover specific aspects of this presentation. So feel free to jump on and off as often as you like. A lot of times with these solutions, this is something you're going to want to hear over and over again. So let's jump right in. Start with talking about the company. Solutions are great, but you want to know that they're provided and being supported by a really strong organization. And that's something that we are proud to boast. We have a 95 Comdex, which is amongst one of the best in the industry. We're A+ rated with AM Best, double A- with Standard & Poor's, and we started these products well over 35 years ago. We're one of the first companies to market linked benefit life LTC solutions. So, and last year alone, paid over $250 million in claims, and our parent company is over 140 years old. So our financials are quite truly one of our best stories. So before we jump into the solutions, and even before I start talking to you about how to position these products, let's talk about why you should be talking about these products. And the first is they are expensive. As you can see here, and this is based on Genworth's cost of care survey, and the numbers here are actually already 3 or 4 years old, so imagine that they've even inflated since then. The average cost for 1 year in a nursing home, as you could see here, is just over $87,000 a year. Now, that's today. Let's assume if we take just a very modest inflation index of 3.5%, which is actually really close to what the inflation index actually is on long-term care, which is right now at about 3.6%. But if we assume just a very modest 3.5%, 10 years down the road, that nearly $87,000 will be almost $125,000. 20 years down the road, with a 3.5% inflation, it's going to be nearly $175,000. So for people who are thinking I can self-insure, they may only be thinking about what the costs are today and not thinking what this is going to look like over the next 20 years. But I'm going to pause for a second because I want to talk to you about 4 trends that are happening right now that are dramatically increasing the cost of long-term care. And the first of those trends are the baby boomers. Now the second largest segment of our population, but still capping out at about almost 80 million people. And the first wave of baby boomers started hitting their 70s 2 years ago. Over 10,000 people a day are turning age 70. So what does this mean? You have the second largest segment of our population getting into their prime years. They'll need long-term care, their 80s, in the next 10 years. So as it stands right now, we have supply and demand. What happens in the next 10 years when the second largest segment of our population starts infiltrating that demand aspect? You're going to see costs go up dramatically. And the second trend is medical technology. This, by the way, folks, is a good thing because things that were killing us 30 years ago are today considered chronic conditions. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, a variety of cardiovascular disorders, diabetes. These were all death sentences 30 years ago. But they're easily diagnosed now. They're very manageable with simple medications and a variety of procedures. We're simply not dying like we used to. We're living longer. This is a great thing. Average lifespan right now is 85 years old. Again, this is a good thing, but you have to prepare for it because as you live longer, the chances you're going to need long-term care are so dramatically increased. People need to be looking at putting that plan together. And the third trend is family dynamics. Pay attention to this because this is quite honestly what really sells these types of solutions and the need for long-term care. Probably won't surprise you to know that 75% of long-term care starts off at home. But what I guarantee will surprise you is to find out that over 70% of all home care is provided by family members. That's why people buy these solutions, by the way. Yes, asset protection is an integral part of it, but most people do this because they want to protect their family. But even these family dynamics are changing because you have mom and dad retiring to warmer climates like Florida, California, Arizona, what have you, and the kids are staying put, dramatically even changing those family dynamics. And the last trend is government. Now, I'm certainly not going to make any kind of commentary on our current government administration, but what you need to know and how it relates to long-term care is over 40% of all long-term care is paid by the government. And that's why they're consistently introducing new legislation to further privatize long-term care, like the Deficit Reduction Act, which allowed for more states to open up to partnership programs, and the Pension Protection Act, which offered a lot of favorable tax advantages in funding long-term care, one of which OneAmerica took advantage of with our annuities, and we'll get into that. But what you need to know is the government is consistently changing how people are able to qualify for long-term care, and they need to do this because the plans like Medicare and Medicaid are largely unsubstantiated. They pay for over 40% of all long-term care in the country. And whether it's this administration or the following administration, you can count that you're going to see more changes on how government uses the entitlement programs and subsidizes costs for long-term care. And by the way, these numbers that we're showing you here, this is only for 1 year of care. Let's take a look. The average length of care for a man, as you could see here, is 2.2 years. 20 years down the road, you're looking at almost $385,000 out of pocket for long-term care. Average length of care for a female is 3.7 years. 20 years down the road, you're looking at almost $645,000 out of pocket long-term care costs. And the big number here, people with Alzheimer's will live 8 to 20 years with the syndrome. 20 years down the road, you could be looking at almost $1.4 million out of pocket long-term care costs. You know what I call that? I call that the Titanic. That Titanic was built, it was the strongest, biggest, most unsinkable ship ever built at its time when it went down to the bottom of the Atlantic in just under 2 hours. You got clients sitting on $1.4 million. They're feeling pretty unsinkable. One of them gets something like Alzheimer's, and watch how fast their portfolio will sink, much like the Titanic. But to me, the most staggering number out of all of them is 70%. And that is the chances that once you hit 65 and older, that you're going to need long-term care. By the way, most people think they're in the 30%. And by the way, nursing homes are filled with people that thought they'd be in the 30%. So I'm going to get off the soapbox of why this is so important, the cost and the trends. But before I talk about any types of products or solutions, I want you to understand why this is something you should be such an incredibly strong advocate for. But now, most importantly, I want to show you how to position this and how to sell it, and what's really moving the needle, turning illustrations into applications with clients. And it's really simply just two questions. The first question being, look, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I have no idea if you'll ever need long-term care, but God forbid if you did, have you considered the impact it's going to have on your family, your spouse, your kids who have jobs and their own kids and homework and baseball practice? Because the very people you swore your whole life you would always protect are the ones that you impact the most should you need long-term care. This alone is really what sells these solutions. But the second question, to go just a little bit further, is if you needed long-term care, how would you pay for it? Are you aware that nothing pays for this except your own income, your own money, your own assets that you've worked your entire life for to live out the retirement you've always wanted to, and maybe hopefully leave some money behind to your beneficiaries? These two questions is all you need to gain the interest, illustrate the lack of a plan, and the need to create one. And this puts you in the perfect position to transition into the linked benefit approach, the linked benefit solution, if you will. And what I love about this approach is your clients almost aren't buying anything. They're really just maneuvering money, re-intentioning or repurposing money they have, shifting it from their left pocket over to their right pocket. I really call this insurance for people that don't want to buy insurance, because all we're doing here is we're taking a portion of their portfolio. We're moving it from one portion over to another portion that they're going to own, because with this type of investment, they're getting cash value. So if they want their money back, they'll have cash value. If they die and never need it, they'll have a tax-free death benefit. And of course, the real purpose, if they need it for long-term care, they'll have it for that. And with us, and only with us, they'll have a lifetime benefit of long-term care they can never, ever outlive. The real easy transition and way to position linked benefits. And what you're offering here is using a small portion of their portfolio to protect their entire portfolio. So now let's get into the nuts and bolts of what I'm sure you came here to hear about today, and that is the OneAmerica Care Solutions product suite. And we have really, once you understand how one works, you're going to understand honestly how they all work. But basically we have our asset care products, which is whole life linked to long-term care. And as you're going to learn, we have all these different ways to fund this: single premium, annual pay, 5, 10, 20 pay, or qualified money. And then we have our annuity care products, where we use an annuity to fund a combined LTC approach, and a few different products there. But let's start off by talking about the asset care product. So to begin with, this is a participating whole life product. There's no published interest rate. You'll just, as you look at the illustration, be able to see the cash value based on that particular client, the premium they put in, and the benefits. And where we're so different and we're so unique versus the other carriers is we work on either an individual or a joint life chassis. So where this is such an advantage, you can almost look at this as it's kind of like a 2-for-1. So if you're working with a couple, for example, that says, we've got about $100,000 we want to put into something like this. With us, you could put that $100,000 into one contract, and that's going to create a death benefit and a long-term care benefit, and that's going to cover two people. We're able to do this because it's on a joint life second to die chassis. But if you were to do this with anybody else, any other carrier, you'd have to take that $100,000 and split that into two separate contracts: a contract for $50,000 on the husband and a contract for $50,000 on the wife. Why is that such a big deal? Because your death benefit is based on the size of the premium. So in that example, that couple would each get a death benefit based on $50,000, and the long-term care benefit would be based on that death benefit. So generally with couples, we're going to come in looking better as far as what that LTC monthly benefit is. And of course, we're the only one with the lifetime benefit. It never does exhaust. So we have single premium covering two lives. Remember, we have a lot of different ways to fund these solutions. It can be done on an annual pay, a 5 pay, a 10, or a 20 pay, or of course a single pay. But if you're on any of our recurring premium options, one of the things that we love that we include is waiver of premium, absolutely included on all policies. So whether you're paying off the base or the rider, when one person goes on claim, even if it's a couple, even if it's a joint life, all premiums are waived. We offer COLA or inflation protection at 3 and 5%. You can get that in the base, the rider, either or both. And one of the things that we've included, which a lot of our clients love, is a 0-day elimination period for home care. That's included. And remember, 75% of all care starts off at home. So let's go into how asset care really works. We start off with the base of the product. Basically, this is where your life insurance is. You're going to fund this with all these different options: single premium, annual pay, 5, 10, or 20 pay. And quite honestly, this concept that I'm showing you here is really how all the solutions work. The only difference between them is just how do you want to fund it. But starting with the base of the product, you're going to fund that with all the different options. Then it's going to create a death benefit. And should you need the policy for long-term care, you're going to use your death benefit that's on the base of the policy first. But once you've exhausted your death benefit for long-term care, you'll come over here and you have this continuation of benefits rider, which will continue out whatever your monthly benefit was, as you can see here, for a lifetime. Or we're not showing you lifetime benefit there, but that is the option most people go with. This is how all the products work. You have the base and you have the rider. You fund the base, that gives you life insurance. That's where your cash value is. Whatever goes into the rider, there's no cash value or death benefit. It just extends on your LTC monthly benefit forever on a lifetime benefit. But let's go into the different solutions and really show you how this works. Here's an example where we're using probably our flagship solution, which is a single premium solution. And in this example, we're using a 61-year-old male and a 60-year-old female. And this couple has $150,000 in single premium they want to use to fund this product. So they want to do a single pay and cover the whole thing. So of that 150, 95,000 and change is going to come in and cover the base and create a death benefit that you could see here. And that will create an LTC monthly benefit of, as you could see here, over $5,500 per month. And remind you, that is per person. So again, the 95,000 and change comes into the base, creates the death benefit. And if we need this for long-term care, this will spend down over 33 months. And there's two options. It can be 33 or 50 months. In this example, we chose 33, and that's creating this LTC monthly benefit. But once they've used up this death benefit, either just one of them or both of them for long-term care, they bought the rider. Of the 150, 95,000 and change paid the base. The remainder is paying off the unlimited lifetime benefit rider, meaning this $55.86 per person per month will last forever. They can never, ever exhaust that benefit. So this is our single premium option, where we have a single premium paying both the base and the rider. We're able to get inflation protection on this. Remember, the 0-day elimination period is on this as well. And remember, we have that tremendous advantage that 150 is coming in and covering 2 lives. If you look how we compare with the other carriers, you'll see that in a lot of these examples, we're over $1,000 per month more in LTC benefit. And again, that's per person than all the other carriers generally in the industry, because again, that 150 is coming in and able to cover 2 lives. And again, we've got a lifetime benefit where the other carriers cap out at 6 years. So that's our first approach, using a single premium to cover the entire benefit. But the approach that I personally like the most is where we're using a single premium to pay the base, but you can pay the rider separately on either an annual premium, a 5 pay, a 10 pay, or a 20 pay. We've already shown you a single pay for both. So in this example, we have $100,000 coming in as a single premium, creating a death benefit of $194 and change. And that's creating a monthly LTC benefit, as you see here, just over $5,800 per month per person. But the rider we're going to pay that off annually, which you can even then drill down even further and decide you want to pay it off monthly. So instead of using a single premium to fund this, remember in the previous solution, we pulled up 150 to pay the whole thing. Here, we're using 100,000 to pay the base, but we're coming in with a nice annual premium, very inexpensive, of only $3,900 a year or $325 a month, and that's going to carry this monthly benefit per person for this couple out forever. And again, you could pay the base on a single premium like we're showing here. You could do it annually like we're showing here, but you can also pay the base on a 5-pay, 10-pay, or 20-pay chassis, or like the very first example, just single pay the whole thing. By the way, because the rider here is separated, it is a long-term care health cost. And if your clients own a business, the business can pay these premiums and it is 100% deductible to the business. These rider premiums can also be paid out by an HSA policy. So that's showing you a few different options here. Now let's go to our recurring premium options. This is basically our answer to traditional long-term care. For clients that are a little more comfortable paying an annual premium, maybe they're income heavy, they're pulling RMDs, or they have a pension, or maybe you have executives that are earning a lot of money and would like to pay this over a 5, 10, or a 20-year period. Here's our solution to that. It's everything that a traditional LTC has, LTC policy has, but yet so much more. So in this example, we're working with a 53-year-old male and a 51-year-old female, and they wanted to solve to make sure they were getting at least $5,000 per month as their monthly benefit, as you can see here. So that annual premium to generate that $5,000 a month is a little over $5,800 total annual premium. Of that $5,800, $3,800 and change is paying the base, and the remainder is paying the rider, and this is going to be an annual payment. And again, this is generating this death benefit and providing $5,000 per month per person. Again, this could be a 5, 10, or 20 pay. We're just showing you here annually, and they can break this down. It could be a monthly payment if they want, or quarterly, or semi-annually. Basically, our answer to traditional long-term care. However, with the extreme added benefits that with traditional LTC, they pay these premiums in, and they can go up. Our policies are all built on a non-cancelable, guaranteed renewable contract. So I'm not going to stand here and tell you you've never raised our premiums in over 30 years. I'm going to tell you that we can't. So the same premium they're paying now will be the premium they're paying in 30 years. We also include waiver of premium. So when they go on claim, all premiums are waived. But two of the biggest added benefits, they die and never need it for anything. Well, they have this very healthy death benefit here. With traditional LTC, if they die and never need it, they have no value in it whatsoever. Also, this $3,800 every year coming in is creating cash value. So if they want to cancel the policy, they're going to have some cash value on that. And of course, our calling card, they can never, ever outlive their policy or benefits. There are no traditional LTC policies currently selling lifetime benefits. A lot of different options we showed you. Single paying the whole thing, reoccurring premiums, or single pay the base with the reoccurring premium on the rider. Quite honestly, we're just getting started. One of the solutions that people seem to be most excited about right now is how we work with qualified money. We can work with your clients' existing IRAs, 401ks, or 403bs. And basically what we do is we set up an IRA at OneAmerica. And in that IRA, we use a single premium fixed deferred annuity as the investment vehicle. So we'll roll over a lump sum out of your client's 401k or IRA and put that into our IRA at OneAmerica, and we put it into the single premium fixed deferred annuity. But the first thing we're going to do is give that annuity a 20% earned income bonus. That's 20% more than what they actually put in. Then we're going to take that new amount, that new 20% total, and use that to fund over 10 years, 10 equal payments into just an asset care recurring 10-pay. So let me really show you how this works. We'll start off in this example where we're going to grab $150,000 out of a client's 401k and roll it into the IRA at OneAmerica. Remember, the first thing we do is we add 20% more. So in this example, 20% more than the 150 is another $30,000. So now we have $180,000 to work with. And we're going to take that $180,000 and use that to fund 10 equal payments into an asset care recurring 10 pay. So in this example, that would be $18,000 a year. So year one, we'll pull out the $18,000, make the first year's premium payment, reduce the value of the annuity in the IRA. Year two, we'll do the same thing, and so on until after 10 years, we've completely reduced the annuity and IRA down to zero and have now fully funded our 10-pay policy. Now, is this $18,000 every year that's coming out of our IRA, out of that annuity taxable? Yeah, of course it is, coming out of an IRA. But remember, it was taxable before when it was sitting over here in its original 401k. All we've done is we've taken that money, we gave them $30,000 to pay off these taxes and spread that taxation out over 10 years. And this is what that policy would look like. So this is on a 61-year-old male and a 60-year-old female, that $18,000 coming over every year. And in this example, it's creating a death benefit of a little over $176,000. Now they're choosing a 33-month benefit here, which is what we do in most cases for couples. And that's creating an LTC monthly benefit per person of $52.88. Yes, I said per person, because even though we're using the husband's 401k in this example, one of the biggest advantages to doing this is the husband is able to add his spouse to the product. Historically, you can't buy insurance on two people out of one person's 401k or IRA. But in this example, you can, because we have a joint life second to die policy. We're paying the tax on the money coming out of our IRA and putting it into this 10 pay. So they'll get $52.88 per person per month. So if they go and claim at the same time, that's over $10,000 a month per person. And again, this will be on a lifetime benefit chassis. And remember, we talked about our waiver of premium, right? Waiver of premium is included on any of our policies that have a reoccurring premium option. Well, this is a 10-pay reoccurring premium. So one of the benefits of our waiver of premium option is not only are the premiums waived when the clients go on claim, but we still consider those premiums earned into the policy. So in this example, where this is a 10-pay, let's say one of the couple, just the husband, goes on claim their second year into the policy and is on claim for the next 8 years. Well, they've only made two premium payments. This $18,000 has only come out of the policy, out of the IRA, out of the annuity twice. And over the next 8 years, we stopped pulling the money, but we still considered it earned into the 10-pay. The policy would be paid up if they're on claim for the next 8 years, and we've only pulled out a total of $36,000. They can then use that money sitting in our IRA in that annuity and roll it back into another IRA and reinvest it however they like. Love that built-in elimination period. Love that built-in waiver of premium, which works extremely well with our qualified money approach as well. So I want to talk about one of our other solutions, which works fantastic for high net worth clients. And this is basically just our single premium approach, which I showed you earlier, but we have an option that allows the clients to elect for 100% guaranteed return of premium, meaning every penny they get in, forget about what cash value is, whatever premium they put in, they can get back that 100% premium in totality at any time they like. And again, it just works on our single premium chassis, opting in for the guaranteed return of premium. The only caveat is that there's a little limitation in how you can design the policy when you're selecting guaranteed return of premium. The base will pay out for long-term care on a 50-month chassis, and the rider, the lifetime benefit, wouldn't be available. It would just be an additional 50 months. But again, look what you could do here with high net worth clients. Generally, what you're going to find with high net worth clients is a lot of them will have some of their money pull back sitting in cash positions, especially at volatile times in our market where you see undulation. High net worth clients like to keep some of their money pulled back safely in cash positions, literally doing nothing for them, just emergency fund money, if you will. That's the money we're going after, because where it is right now, it's sitting safely but not doing anything. Well, basically, it's sitting at the Bank of America. All you're going to do is switch it over and switch it to the Bank of OneAmerica, have it sit sit safely with us. However, if they need it, you can see here, if they die and never need it for anything, well, the 250 sitting where it is only worth 250. With us, it's worth over $400,000, and that would be a tax-free death benefit. But if they needed it for long-term care, as you can see here, it's worth over $800,000 for long-term care, to the tune of over $8,000 per month per person. And I'm showing you this on a 60-year-old couple. This is a 50-month base with a 50-month rider, 100% return of premium. As you can see here, at any time, even day one, they'll always get their $250 back. And as a matter of fact, after the surrender charges have gone away, they'll get over their $250 back should they decide to surrender the policy. But they're always going to get value if they died and never need it. They'll make quite a bit more than what they put in on a tax-free death benefit. But the real beauty is we're turning $250,000 of parked money. It's the same $250 parked with us, but that's $800,000 tax-free for long-term care. Fantastic solution for your high net worth clients. So this really illustrates here where the Asset Care solution stands above the rest of the competition. The waiver of premium while on claim, which again, not only waives premiums, but still consider those premiums earned into the policy. Our qualified money approach with that 20% earned income bonus. And of course, the 0-day elimination period for home care, and our calling card, lifetime benefits that can never be decreased, a joint life policy, one premium covering 2 lives, and of course, premiums that can never go up and benefits that can never go down, unless of course they're being used. Fantastic value proposition with long-term care. And again, what I love about this is live, quit, or die. Your clients are always going to find value with these solutions. So let's move on to our annuity care suite. And this is a huge opportunity, a $2 trillion opportunity, actually, if you will. Why? Because there's about $2 trillion out there right now sitting in non-qualified annuities. Last year alone, over $200 billion in annuity sales, and the average purchaser of these was about 51 years old. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there. Why? Well, the government did a Gallup poll and found that over 80% of people that own these non-qualified annuities don't turn them on for income. Why? They're great tax-deferred growth vehicles. You put your money in, they gain interest every year, you don't pay tax on it, but you will pay tax when you use it. People know that, so they opt to not use them, which makes them terrible products to die with because they leave behind a taxable event to the beneficiaries. So the government got wind of this and said, wow, what a great opportunity to create more legislation that could possibly further privatize more long-term care expenses. So as a part of the Pension Protection Act that went live January 1, 2010, they allowed for the creation of Pension Protection Act annuities. Well, what is that and how does it work? Well, let's start off by giving you an example of an existing annuity. So in this example, a gentleman took $50,000, invested it into a non-qualified deferred annuity, and over time, it gained $100,000 in interest. So now it's worth $150,000 with $100,000 as taxable gain. If he uses this for anything, including long-term care, because that's what most people do, they'll hold on to these annuities. They don't want to use them for income, but they use them as their emergency funds, if you will. So let's say this guy uses this $150 annuity for long-term care. The way annuities work is LIFO, last in, first out. Well, the last in on this were the gain. So that $100,000 in gain all comes out first and it's all taxable. What he's able to do now, though, because of the Pension Protection Act, is take this annuity worth $150,000, do a 1035 exchange into a HIPAA qualified, PPA eligible annuity, and now all of its value, including the $100,000 that was taxable gain, it's now all 100% tax-free if it's used for long-term care. So the Pension Protection Act went live January 1, 2010, and that's when OneAmerica released our first annuity product called Annuity Care. It went live January 1, 2010. And again, in base structure and design, it looks a lot like the Asset Care products. And before I even venture into the Annuity Care products, I want to say one thing. I know I'm throwing enormous amounts of information at you. What's great though is you don't have to worry about remembering this stuff. What I want you to come away with today is remembering your opportunity. So before I even get into annuity care, and I should have done this a few minutes earlier, just remember that right now, if you've got clients with a lot of assets, you've got the perfect approach with a single premium on asset care. For your clients that are more income heavy, you have a great pay-as-you-go approach option now with annual premiums, 5, 10, and 20 pay. For your clients that have qualified money, you have a great solution for them now. And now we're showing you the annuity care products. But all you have to do is remember your opportunity, pick up the phone, call the back office of the general agency that you're working with, that you run your business through, and say, look, hey, I got a guy, he's got a lot of assets, I want to do a single premium. Don't worry about remembering how all these solutions work. Just remember your opportunity. So as we're going into this, if you're thinking you're starting to get a little information overload, hopefully that will ease some of your concerns. So the way Annuity Care One works, you'll put a single premium to the base of the product. There's going to be 2 interest rates, one for cash and accumulated value. The second would be for long-term care value. Then when your clients need this for long-term care, we'll look at the long-term care value growth account and divide that by 36 months. And that's how we come up with the LTC monthly benefit. But like all of our solutions, no one ever buys our products just for the base of the insurance. So you can get an additional long-term care pool of money of another 36 months, or, we even have an annuity product that has a lifetime benefit on it as well. And the way you would pay for one of these 2 rider options is on an annual premium or just one single premium paying the whole thing, which is generally what most people are going to do and what this 81-year-old female does in this example. So in this example, we have an 81-year-old female sitting on an annuity worth $125,000. A lot of tax associated to this. It's got a nice 3% interest rate. She can't move it. There's nowhere where she's going to see 3% anywhere else. She has no long-term care insurance, and in her mind, this is kind of her emergency fund money. God forbid she ever needed long-term care. So what a great opportunity for her to take this 125, fund the base and the rider, and get a lifetime benefit of long-term care, and that's exactly what she does. So she's going to take the 125, roll this annuity into Annuity Care One, and of that 125, 102,500 will go into the base, and the remaining 22,500 will pay off the rider. So if she needed this day one, before this 102,500 had any chance to even grow, we would just divide that by 36 months, which in this example is $3,000 a month or $36,000 a year. But remember, that's for a lifetime. So we took this 81-year-old female that had as an annuity worth $1.25 for only 3% off a year, which is what, less than $4,000 a year, mostly taxable. We turned that into $36,000 a year, tax-free, for long-term care for the rest of her life. If she dies and she never needs it, well, she's got the 102.5 here that will pay out to a beneficiary. The gains would be taxable upon death. We make the long-term care benefit tax-free, but on death, gains are taxable. And if she wants to opt out of it, sure, her 102.5, of course, is surrenderable with 9 years of declining surrender charges. Now, this is available for people up to the ages of 85. And by the way, on the asset care products, that's available for people up to the age of 80. In order for her to get $36,000 a year tax-free for long-term care, she would need an annuity earning 29%. Yeah, those don't exist. What an incredible option for this 81-year-old who had this $1.25 sitting in this annuity that was existing to turn that into $36,000 a year tax-free forever. So this is Annuity Care One. We love this product. It's a great solution, but we said, the only fly in the ointment on this is that her existing annuity was worth $125. For her to buy this, she's losing $22,500 paying off the rider. Obviously, it's worth it because look at what she's getting. But we thought, how do we come up with a solution that looks just as good as this, but we include the rider? So when they look at their ledger balance from day one, they could still see that value that they're rolling over. And that's how we came up with Annuity Care 2, which looks a little similar in design. to Annuity Care One in that a single premium will fund the base. And by the way, with the Annuity Care products, they also work on an individual or a joint chassis where one premium will come in and can cover two lives. And with all of our products, we define joint as, of course, people who are married, but anyone that's living in a domestic partnership or civil union, and that's defined by each state. So we have a single premium coming in and covering the base, and they can get the continuation of benefit rider, which would provide for an additional 36 months. But the difference with this is the rider is included. There's no annual premium that has to pay it off, and they don't have to break off any single premium of their investment to pay off that rider. So how do we do that? Obviously, we're not just throwing it in for free. We do this by taking monthly charges off of the interest that they're getting on the base of their annuity. And it works just like Annuity Care One, where there's two interest rates. There's one interest rate where the base is growing for accumulated and cash value, and a second interest rate where the base is growing for long-term care value. So we'll look at what that amount is. We'll take off some of that to pay for the 36-month rider. And instead of looking at it as 36 months, the best way to really look at it is that it's 2.5 times. Meaning, let's say you put $200,000 into the base, you're going to get your total long-term care pool 2.5 times that. So in this example, that would be $500,000. That's incredible value on their money. And again, this is a Pension Protection Act annuity, so that all comes in and comes out 100% tax-free. Now, this is available for people up to the ages of 80 years old. One of my favorite solutions, because you're just rolling money in. They're not losing any value on their annuity up front. There'll be a small decumulation based upon their age if they're older, but it's a great way to use non-existing, non-qualified annuities to fully fund one of these solutions. Our last annuity product is an indexed annuity. And again, this is also Pension Protection Act eligible, so we can bring over non-qualified annuities into this and make them 100% tax-free. Now, I'm not going to even talk about the crediting strategy on our indexed annuity. I don't think I've ever discussed that. All your clients need to know about this. They're going to fund the base, again, with a single premium. They can get a lifetime benefit on the rider. The difference with this, it's not a published interest rate. Of course, the base is going to go up in value based on the performance of the S&P 500. But I'm not going to get into the crediting strategy. The only thing that you need to know about this is that, number one, like most indexed annuities, the guarantee is zero. So even if the S&P 500 tanks, they can never lose money in this whatsoever. But the second thing, and this is what you do want to explain, that regardless of how the index does, they're always going to get more value than what their base is when they need this for long-term care, because this comes with one of two step-up bonus options when they turn it on for long-term care. The first option is they can get up to 50% more than what their original premium was, or up to 35% more on what their actual account value is, the bigger of the two. So there's some really good safety zones in this fallback, that no matter what, you're going to get more than what you put in for long-term care. And of course, with the rider, you get the lifetime benefit. Quite honestly, because indexed annuities are confusing, the only place we really seem to use this the most is when you have clients that aren't able to be approved for any one of the full products that we have. We, by the way, approve over 90% of all applications that come in. Only 10% decline. But we might come back and say the best offer we can give you is just the base of one of our annuity products. And that's where you want to look at indexed annuity. The step-up bonuses are very large. And then if the index does well, you'll get great growth. And remember, this is 100% tax-free for long-term care as well. Great options for our indexed annuity. So we're going to stop talking about the solutions now, talk a little bit about underwriting, some of the marketing tools and resources, discuss how we're reimbursement and assignment versus indemnity or cash. But again, before I go into that, I want to reiterate one more time, don't worry about remembering how these products work. Come away today remembering your opportunity. You now know you got a great option for clients that have a lot of assets and want to do a single premium approach where one premium will cover two people. You have a great option for clients that want to do a pay-as-you-go approach but want the security of knowing that their premium payments today will never change and they can never run out of benefits because they're a lifetime benefit, and they're at least going to get something for something for nothing, or something for something, if you will, because you're going to get a death benefit out of your money coming in, or cash value. You have a great approach now for people with qualified money, executives that want to be done with their premium payments in 5, 10, or 20 years, and now a fantastic approach for your clients sitting on existing non-qualified annuities that have a lot of tax associated with them. We can mitigate all that taxation, make it tax-free for long-term care on a lifetime chassis. So as you can see, we are based on a reimbursement payout model, which compared with indemnity actually has a lot of advantages. Because regardless, the money is going to ultimately come from the insurance company and end up in the hands of the vendors. What's nice about reimbursement, it also works on assignment. So basically, you just tell us who your vendors are, what facility you're staying at, who's coming in to take care of you, and we'll just pay them directly. You'll never have to worry about qualifying every 6 months for long-term care, and you're never going to have to worry about taxation on this. We'll just pay them directly. As far as underwriting, you'd be pretty surprised, but look at all the different things that are not automatically declined with us. Like I said, we approve 90% of all applications that come in. Not always, of course, approved as applied for, but look at all these conditions that we will consider for long-term care. If your clients are 60 and under, we're going to do a phone interview where if they're older than 60, we'll do a cognitive. But we're going to check with the Medical Information Bureau, and we're going to do a prescription drug report check. And if they're healthy, that could just be it. We might not necessarily go after paramed or medical records, depending upon how they answer the health questions and what we get from those two checks, the MIB and the drug report. Underwriting on annuity care, we'll never go after paramed or medical records. We just do the phone interview, an MIB, and a drug report check, and of course, the health questions on the application. We have one of the most liberal height and weight guidelines, as you can see here. I know a lot of these height, weight, and builds would be declines with a lot of the other carriers. And I want to go into some of the fantastic tools and resources that I'm including today. Number one, again, I know I threw a lot of information at you. We have an incredible toolkit, an LTC point of sale toolkit that will help you from start to finish, sitting in front of your clients, taking you from how to have the conversation, which I discussed earlier on the presentation, going all the way through getting a quote, running an illustration, presenting the solution, and taking an EAP. Everything, how to do every aspect, is right there on the toolkit. We have a great fact finder, which is on the toolkit, which will help you get all the necessary information to put together a 100% custom fit solution. We have a great underwriting inquiry form for your clients who might be on the cusp of insurability. Just fill this information out. We're just asking for what medications and any health conditions. Send that over to us, and within 3 hours, generally, we'll have an answer back as to whether or not your clients are insurable. And I'm including the product guide as part of the handout, as well as a PowerPoint of today's presentation. So I want to talk about our rate calculator and briefly show you that. And to do this, I'm going to, a little easier if I sit down and get behind my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and go off camera at this point and just show my screen. So to get to our rate calculator, I've included the link right here, OneAmerica.com, Care Solutions Rate Calculator. Just click this link, and it's going to bring you to this page. And you'll just scroll over to the bottom and to the right, and you'll see where it says Calculate Benefits Now, and you'll click that, and you'll attest to that, yes, you are a financial professional, because this site is not for consumers. And it will bring you here to this page where you can then put in your information and then fill out the information that you would need. And I've pre-filled this in the interest of time. But at the top, you'll also see there's tabs here where you can quote for asset care or quote for annuity care. Here, we're going to do asset care on a joint life. You just indicate your state, the product here, whether it's an individual or a couple. And we have John and Jane Jones is filling out their age and their gender, whether they smoke or not. Now we're going to look at the product funding options. Do we want to do recurring premium? And if I click that, then you would have the option to go annual pay, 5, 10, or 20 pay, or single premium. And then, of course, you could check off the return of premium option, which we talked about. That's that great option for high net worth clients. Then you'll choose how you want to accelerate the death benefit out for long-term care, either 33 or 50 months. Here we're choosing 50. And then you'll choose how you want to solve. Do you want to solve for a premium amount or a monthly benefit? You know, you're working with clients that have to have $6,000 a month. That's what they're sold on. So in this example, we're going to use a premium amount of 125 grand. And now we have the continuation of benefit rider. How do we want to fund that? When you're doing a single premium on the base, remember, you can do an annual pay, 5, 10, or 20, or single pay on the rider. My favorite's an annual pay, which is paid to 95. With the lifetime benefit, let's not look at inflation protection here. And then you just click calculate, which will churn out the results, which, as you can see, end up right over here on the right. So here's that initial premium of 125, creating a death benefit of 236,000 and change, a monthly benefit per person of $7,107. And again, that's per person, which comes out to $85,000 a year. So if they go and claim at the same time, it's well over $14,000 a month. So the single pay premium is 125, and I chose this where we're looking at an annual premium of $43.47 for this couple. Very inexpensive annual premium, where they're each going to get over $7,100 a month per person on a lifetime benefit. And then you can just click create PDF, so you can see this in its illustration form. Just save it on your hard drive, of course, send it over to your client, go over it with them. But it is a real easy to use software. As you see, I ran that quote in like 20, 30 seconds. The PDF that it puts out is very nice. It's only about 3-4 pages, very easy to understand, and even better, easy to explain. This is just a graphical representation of what we just showed you, $1.25 premium with a death benefit of 236,000 and change, the 7,100 a month benefit. Over here, it's breaking down the base and the rider. Really, really easy to use. And this will work, by the way, on all mobile devices, whether you're Droid, iPhone, tablet, iPad, what have you, it will work on all of those devices. So now I want to talk about the compensation on our product. This is something that we enhanced when we went to our new Acid Care in 2019. So if you're doing a single premium approach, as you could see here, you're going to get 8% commission on whatever is going into the base and the rider. If you're doing any of our recurring premium approaches, if it's an annual pay, you're going to get 90%, whether it's base, rider, it doesn't matter. Anywhere there's a recurring premium and it's annual pay, base or rider, it's 90% with a 3% trail for up to 10 years. If you're on a 5 pay, it's 25% with a 3% trail. Whoops. And if you're on a 10 pay, it's 45%. And on a 20 pay, it's 75%. Again, with a 3% trail. On the annuity products, Annuity Care 1, depending upon the age, ranges from 2.75 to 4.75% commission. And Annuity Care 2 is a flat 6.5% with indexed annuity at 6%. If you want these numbers, we can send you the comp grid. Your BGA should also have this information. So before I let you go, I want to talk to you about a program that I really think you're going to like. This is based on doing virtual consumer workshops. Basically, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and every Thursday at 2 p.m., both times Eastern, I do a consumer presentation that only goes for 25 minutes that you are able to invite your clients, consumers, and prospects to. What's great about this program is I don't just host this workshop and say, hey, you're on your own. I'm trying to get your consumers and clients there. We give you an enormous amount of marketing support to help drive your clients and customers to this program. So this program was based on the 3 major aspects that makes the workshop successful: preparation, content, and immediate follow-up. So I have a step-by-step guide and step-by-step instructional video that helps you through every aspect of the program, including how to identify your clients, an invitation which my marketing team will send out for you on your behalf with all of your contact information, headshot, and your reply to email address. And we keep this pretty organized and very easy to implement. The content itself, like I said, it's a pretty powerful 25-minute presentation that we deliver with myself on camera going through a PowerPoint. Most importantly, it's compelling, hits on urgency, and hits on clients' hot buttons as to why they need to take immediate action in planning for long-term care. And then the follow-up, this would work with either myself, my internal, or the marketing organization that you work with, where we'll do a virtual planning session with you and your client, where we'll present a hypo illustration as well as the correct solution, complete with helping taking the e-application. So just to give you some glances of how the program works, here's the step-by-step guide, starting with getting a list of your clients and prospects together, and we help you identify that with a piece showing you how to do that. Then the invitations go out, which is done by my marketing team. We just need your information, headshot, and your contact list. You'll then call your clients and prospects because you're going to get a tracking report letting you know who opened the invitation. We even give you a phone script to help guide you through registering your clients to the workshop. We'll send out drip emails as well. And then, of course, the setting of the virtual planning session, we give you a lot of tools to help you with that. But this is what the invitation looks like. It would have your headshot here, all of your contact information here with the link for your clients to register. Here's what the tracking report looks like, letting you know which of your clients have opened the email. And it's even sorted by who's opened the email or clicked on images or links around in the email the most. So you'll have a phone script to call those people up and get them there. This is what the presentation looks like. Again, me on camera delivering a very compelling presentation on the why it's so important to plan for long-term care. And then, of course, the follow-up, a virtual planning session with your agency, myself, or my internal, and your client, where we're doing a share screen or a conference call presenting a solution. So your next call to action is, number one, I highly encourage you to attend this training again. As I indicated, you'll get a follow-up email to this that will have the handouts that we talked about, along with another invitation to join. But start thinking about clients that fit the molds of the solutions that we talked about. And don't worry about remembering how these solutions work. Just remember your opportunity. So what we're going to do now is we're going to launch a poll that will give you an opportunity to opt into our virtual consumer workshop program. Pretty simple, just vote yes or no. We'll keep it open for about a minute and change. Shouldn't take you too long to do that. So let's go ahead and launch that poll. And by the way, of course, this program is absolutely free. Even the fact that we're having our marketing team do all the invitations and tracking for you using our marketing store, it's just a service and an offer that we provide.